former Shadow Home Secretary and Halton Price and Howden MP David Davis resigned in 2008 over what he called an erosion of civil liberties. He was, you'll remember, subsequently re-elected. Needless to say, he's not in favour of these changes. In fact, he says it's a mad idea.
Yes, it is. I mean, the simple truth is we have to have some degree of surveillance and ability to watch people who are a threat to the state or who are serious criminals and so on. But to do that, you don't need to have the right to access every single email address and every single text address and so on of every single person in the country, which is what this bill would allow.
Yeah, so you agree something does need to change, something does need to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but one of the difficulties we have at the moment is you need to target what you do. I mean, when the inquest was held into the 7/7 bombing, one of the things that came out of it in very stark terms was that the agencies did not have, that's MI5 and MI6 and so on, did not have either the skill, the software, or the number of people necessary to track down all the data they already had. I mean, Mohammed Siddiqui Khan, the leader of the 7/7 bombers, was actually on their database. He had been recorded talking about terrorism and fraud and going to Pakistan and jihad, and they had not bothered to follow up on him because they had so much else to do. And that's bad enough when you've got 2,000 people in the database. What's it going to be like when you have 100,000 or more, which is the way we're going?
Given the importance of this issue, isn't this rather damning of the government that they've not been able to get it right? Indeed, that's what Yvette Cooper's saying today. She says the government's making a complete mess of a very important issue. Yeah,
well, I don't think Yvette Cooper can take too much comfort in this, because one of the problems with this is exactly the same policy that Labour lit upon before the last election. Now, I'm happy that she's, as it were, changed sides on it, but it isn't right. I mean, it is clearly wrong. It's clearly got wrong. I mean, all the people out there listening to your program, listening to this program, listening to all the people in the country who have got, go onto the web, use email, use text, use their mobile phone, are going to be subject to this potential scrutiny, having their data kept. And bear in mind, it won't just necessarily be the government who accesses it. If you're going to have a huge multiple database with access online, which it has to have, it's going to be open to all sorts of fraudsters and hackers getting into it too. So it's a really serious reduction in security rather than improvement in security.
Yeah, many would say, though, that's part of the government's job, is to, if they're going to implement this, to make sure it is safe and it isn't open to abuse. And I know what people will say. People will text this programme tonight saying if people haven't done anything wrong, they've got nothing to worry about.
Well, it's very interesting. We had at the press conference today Jimmy Wales, the man who created Wikipedia, and he and the leading software security professors in the country have all said it is impossible to make this proposal secure. And the reason is you're going to have dozens, if not hundreds, of databases. They're all going to have to be accessible from a central database in order to compare them. And because of that, you just simply cannot make it secure. It's going to be effectively open to hacking. And when you bear in mind that people as different as the Pentagon and Microsoft have been broken into, I don't hold out much hope for the Home Office being able to protect itself.
Yeah, the argument from people like your Conservative colleague Michael Ellis is that he says it'll save lives. He uses the example that criminals using a landline telephone can have their evidence used to convict them, but not if they communicate on parts of the internet. And there does seem to be a discrepancy there, doesn't there?
Well, then fine, get a warrant. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, what's problematic? One of the biggest things that's problematic about this is both the technology of it, but also the fact that people, they want to do this without having warrants. They want to do it basically on the say-so of another officer. Now, that, frankly, is where the biggest weakness is. I don't mind if you're pursuing somebody who is a suspect even, not a criminal, but a suspect, with a warrant, so you don't do it unnecessarily. And that way you'll catch everybody you would catch otherwise. I mean, I'm afraid Mr. Ellis doesn't know his technology in this area, and neither does he know, even though he's a criminal lawyer, neither does he know about the way the police work in these matters. And the simple truth is that if you get a warrant, you can actually solve every problem that you need to solve in this problem. Process.
Just finally, it is going to be redrafted now. Do you think it's possible to redraft it in such a way as it will get through?
Oh, not if it looks like it is at the moment. They've got to start from scratch. They've got to start, instead of trying to sweep everybody up, they've got to start from the point of view of, who do we need to target. If they do that, they'll be much, much more effective anyway, as we know from other approaches to policing. It's broadly what most other countries do. Nobody does this in the civilized world at the moment. And so they're going to have to really start from scratch. It's going to take some time. It's not going to be easy. But meanwhile, I suggest they start using warrants right now. Start just getting judges to approve access to these things, because you can do that under current law. So we need to get this right. It's important to the security of the country, of course, but it's also important that our country continues to have the levels of freedom and privacy which a normal civilized people have. And we hold ourselves out, quite rightly, as amongst the most civilized people in the world. We should continue to be that.
That's the Halton Price and Howden Conservative MP David Davis, or rather suspect